Good afternoon, everybody. It is meteorologist 812 Forecast, and welcome back to the video, guys. This is going to be another update on the severe weather for parts of those upper plains, and then we're just going to be looking at the radars for the northeast and parts of south central, because they will have some other finishing up storms from yesterday. So, guys, if you guys do want to know the impacts, like what to expect with these storms, the timing on these storms, and how many bands will come in your area, that would all be coming right up. Alright, guys, so the first thing we're going to be looking at is are the active alerts. So as you can tell, we do have some active alerts for these storms for parts of the plains in the Midwest. So we do have severe thunderstorm watches in effect for these areas in the Midwest, like the Milwaukee area, the Chicago area, and parts of the close to the Muskegon area of Michigan. And then we do have another blob or another section that does have severe thunderstorm watches for parts of the Nebraska, Iowa, and Kansas area in those central plains. So far we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings anywhere here yet. The only warnings are right here down in southern Florida, but nothing here close Miami yet. But we do not have any. We only have severe thunderstorm watches and a couple flood warnings right here, and then we do have flood watches for southern Texas, but no severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado watches yet. But that could change as we do have some more storms going in through these areas tonight. But these are very new right here. They just got updated like 4 minutes ago. But so yeah, this is what it's looking like right now based on the active alerts. We should have a lot more come in for these areas, some possible tornado watches. So now we're going to be looking at is the day one categorical outlook, which day one is today. So you can tell we do have a area that does have from a slight to an enhanced risk in this area stretching through parts of the Midwest to those central plains. So we do have a population about 20 million people in this area. We do have Chicago, Milwaukee, Kansas City, Omaha, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. So those are the areas that are in the slight chance. And then the enhanced risk is the bullseye for today. This is where the people in this area for the 543,000 people in this area, we do have the bullseye to get the worst out of the storms and the most out of the storms based on this. So we do have Lincoln, Nebraska, Beatrice, Nebraska, Maryville, Missouri. So we do have Maryville, Missouri. So we do have some small, it's very compacted. This it's just a very small little area, and then we do have a marginal risk that does stretch out for parts of the Wichita area, and then we do have one for the southeast, including the Corpus Christi area, and then going all the way to the New Orleans area to Baton Rouge. So now we're going to be taking a look at the summary. The greatest potential for severe thunderstorms this afternoon into this evening is forecast for southeast Nebraska to northwest Missouri and southern Ohio, where very large hail and sporadic severe gusts are possible. So based on this, we are looking like we could see some wind damage with this and large hail. So tornado threat is only a 5% chance for these areas in enhanced risk. So not a huge threat, only a 5% chance for these areas in Lincoln, Nebraska, and for parts of the let's say look at the cities: Lincoln, Nebraska, St. Joseph, Missouri, and Papillion, Nebraska, Indianola, Iowa. So we do have those specific areas, and then we do have a 2% chance for those areas and a slight chance for the Chicago area and Milwaukee area and Grand Rapids. Now we're going to be taking a look at the wind threat. So again, we do have not a huge threat, but up to a 15% chance for these areas in the Kansas City area, Chicago, Milwaukee, Lincoln, Nebraska, and Grand Rapids, all the way to Grand Rapids. So that's where we have the 15% chance for some strong winds with this severe weather. And now we actually have a 30% chance, a pretty good amount, a 30% chance for having some hail with this. So we do have Lincoln, Nebraska, Beatrice, Nebraska, Maryville, Missouri, in the area for 30% chance. And then we do have a 15% chance out for these areas that were in the slight chance. So this is what's looking like all for today. We're going to be taking a quick look at tomorrow. We will have some slight chances out there for the upper Pacific Northwest, and then some marginal for the plains. So it's looking like we're going to have a break for the central to eastern part of the U.S. More like that's going to be more to the west, but at least these areas will finally have a day to not have severe weather. So yeah, it's going to be a nice day tomorrow for some areas. So now we're going to be taking a look at the radar. We're going to be taking a look at this northeast first, because they are getting these storms finishing up from yesterday's storms that we saw these strong bands come in through the Ohio Valley. So we actually do have some very strong thunderstorms for this New England area and Connecticut to Massachusetts. The rain's on its way to Boston, moving up rapidly to the east. It's going to bring in some very heavy rain for, again, the upper part of New England, including Vermont and Hampshire, and then more in the central part of New England, which is Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. That's where we're going to have these very severe weather there. As we go more into the next 3 hours, we are going to have some very strong rain moving into the Vermont and Maine area, and then we're going to have very severe weather covering the whole state of Rhode Island, which is not the first time we've seen a huge band cover the whole state. And then the severe bands will be making its way to the Boston area. And then by the next 4 to 5 hours, it would be affecting the Boston area and rapidly move out of the New Hampshire, New England area, and then it's going to be going into that Maine area, going to bring some very heavy rain for the I believe the Portland, Maine area, and then near the Bangor area in Maine. That's where they can have some light to moderate rain. No severe weather up there in that Canada area or Nova Scotia, and then we can have that rain stick around just a little bit, and then we can have by tomorrow some very scattered bands, but it's not going to be that bad. Just going to have some very heavy rain at times. We'll get very gusty winds for these small little bands, but that's why we don't really have a big threat tomorrow. So now we're going to be taking a look at the plains now and the Midwest, because that's why this is where we're going to have the worst of the weather today. So we do have some very small bands in Lake Michigan and for part of the off the coast of the Milwaukee area. So that's where we're just going to have that severe weather. And by later tonight, this is going to be moving on to the central part of Michigan. This is where we're going to have these very strong storms for the southern part of Iowa. They're not going to be very huge bands, but they could be a bit smaller, but strong too. So they're going to be moving on very slowly. They're going to be very slow moving storms though. And then we're going to have another area that's going to bring in some very heavy rain behind it, bringing rain for the northern part of Nebraska. And then it's going to be moving on to the Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois border where that Mississippi River does go. And that's going to be going away. But that second storm, or that second band that was behind it, does intensify a lot. Going to be affecting the Lincoln, Nebraska area. It's going to bring some very strong bands there. It's going to bring some strong bands towards the Iowa area. This will all be happening from the 10 o'clock range, 10 p.m. range. And then by the midnight range, we're going to have these very strong bands moving now to the northern Missouri area, which is where we had that slight and enhanced risk. In southern Iowa, going to be moving in through these 3 little states. And then by tonight, they should calm down. And then we're going to be looking at tomorrow. Tomorrow, though, we could have some strong bands in for parts of the plains, though. Very strong storms for the west or northern tip of Kansas. And then possibly some very severe weather for the South Dakota, Nebraska area. And then we can have some more severe weather possibly moving into the Ohio Valley again. So, guys, again, we can possibly have some more severe weather coming in for tomorrow. They just got it updated. So now, last but not least, we're going to be taking a look at the South Central. Like I said, these 3 little areas. So we do have some rain for parts of the Corpus Christi area or the Houston area. And then we do have these flood watches in effect for that southern tip. You can see they're going to get some rain off that coast right there. So now we're going to be looking at the next couple hours tonight. So tonight we could have some very scattered bands that could be severe for the Little Rock area, for the close to the Gulfport area, in the Mobile area. And they're going to have some small little bands go into one little line for the northern part of Texas. And then these storms will be very small, though. They should go away by the day comes. And then tomorrow midday, we're just going to have this usual south central moisture that's going to possibly bring in some very small little rain showers for some areas. Just there and over there. Just going to be very scattered tomorrow. Not a big threat for these huge bands, though. Last but not least, we're going to be taking a look at the Cape. We like to look at this last where we can actually take all the data we looked here, and then we can understand why we have these high numbers here. So near that Tulsa, Oklahoma area, we do have 4,100, and then actually very close to reaching that 5,000 range. And then we're just going to have these high numbers stretching to the Nebraska area. Near that Lincoln area, we're going to have some very strong numbers. St. Joseph, very close to the 4,000s. By 11 o'clock tonight, that's when we really have these very strong storms coming in for the southern part of Nebraska and northern Kansas. We're not going to have that very high numbers, only some mid 3,000s. But for the southeastern part of Kansas, we do actually have up to 4,000, 4,300 and other numbers. And then by the Memphis area, we do have some 4,000s a couple miles away there. We're going to be taking a look at tomorrow now. So at 11 a.m. tomorrow, we do see these very high numbers start to spread around through parts of the Ozarks area and through the Ohio Valley. So we're going to have some 4,000, mid 4,000 in this range of the southern tip of Indiana, Illinois, and then we're going to have some very high numbers though stretching from the Wichita area to the Kansas City area. By 8 o'clock tonight or tomorrow night, we're going to have these numbers get even worse. By the Sioux Falls area, we do get up to 5,800, 6,700, guys. I've actually never seen anything that high. And then for Sioux City, 6,700. Now this is the highest numbers I've actually seen ever in my life. We're going to see 6,000 in the Omaha area. Des Moines at 5,500. Dang, 6,700. That is actually crazy. Oh my gosh. So we're going to have very, very high 6,000s, guys. That's usually what you don't see there. St. Joseph and Kansas City are going to be at some 5,000. So we're definitely going to have some very high numbers of energy. It's going to be crazy. By 11 a.m. Thursday, it should be not going to be super duper bad, but it's not going to be super duper low. We're still going to have some very high 4,000s move in to the Wisconsin area by 11 p.m. By 11 p.m. tomorrow or Thursday, we should have these numbers stay in the range of these numbers. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this update on the severe weather. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our major channel. I really hope you guys enjoyed this content, and I'm going to have my fall forecast come out tomorrow, or there's a 90% chance of it coming. I did not do it today because of Invest 93E, and it was a big deal, so I just thought I can do my fall forecast tomorrow. So guys, see you guys in the next video.